Chelsea take on Crystal Palace, or should I say, take on Wilfried Zaha plus the Crystal Palace defence. I mean, never underestimate anyone, but without Zaha, Crystal Palace aren't anywhere near the team they are with him. But Zaha or not, Chelsea are the clear favourites, especially with Eden Hazard being back from injury, and will aim to keep all 3 points at Stamford Bridge. To find out everything you need to know about both sides ahead of the game, make sure you watch all of this preview. Hello there guys and welcome back to 100% Chelsea from a preview of the Chelsea versus Crystal Palace game taking place on Sunday afternoon, with the kickoff being at 4 PM obviously at Stamford Bridge, and I'm looking forward to it. You know, it's a game I'm looking forward to. I can't wait. You know, obviously last Premier League game against Burnley was great. Midweek was not so great, but we won anyway, and now it's back in the Premier League against Palace, and I'm looking forward to it. Of course, this is the preview. There will be a review, there will be fan cams, there will be a vlog, there will be all sorts of content coming out surrounding the game. So if you don't want to miss out on any of that, do make sure you subscribe to 100% Chelsea, and also make sure, whether you have subscribed already or not, that you click the notification bell button and choose to be notified about all uploads, because you know YouTube is just weird like that. People just don't see our videos pop up in their notifications, in their sub boxes rather, and it's just a bit frustrating because you know people subscribe. And you know, some people want to watch the videos, but then they don't actually see the videos and don't, see that they're actually uploaded. So make sure you click the notification bell button so you don't miss any of them if you do want to watch them. And also, let's see whether we can hit 500 or more likes in this video. So smash the like button down below. That would be massively appreciated. But now getting into the preview and starting it off by speaking about our opposition, Crystal Palace. So Palace currently sitting 14th on 8 points from the 10 games, accumulating those points with 2 wins, 2 draws, and obviously then 6 defeats. Now defensively, they're not actually that bad at all, having conceded 13 goals, which is the same as Arsenal, 4 less than Manchester United, and 15 less than Fulham, who've conceded the most so far in the league. But scoring really hasn't been their strong point so far this season, only racking up 7 goals, which is the same amount as Hazard by himself has scored so far. And, you know, that's just more than 3 other teams in the league. That is Southampton, Newcastle and Huddersfield. Those are the only 3 teams that have scored less than Crystal Palace. So going forward, they've not exactly been all too successful. And their recent form has been horrendous, quite frankly. In midweek, they were knocked out of the League Cup with a 1-0 away defeat to Middlesbrough. Last weekend, actually, they got a decent 2-2 draw with Arsenal, a game from which they deserved at least a point. I thought arguably deserved to win it from how the game went. But before that, 3 defeats in a row to Bournemouth, Wolves and Everton. And with their last league win coming way back, you know, against Huddersfield back on September 15th. So their form really hasn't been great recently. And obviously, there is no question about it that Wilfried Zaha is their best, most influential and most dangerous players. I mean, listen to this stat, yeah? Crystal Palace last win in the Premier League without Wilfried Zaha, and this is no joke, this is serious. Last win without Wilfried Zaha dates back to September 24th of 2016. That's over 2 years ago that they last won a game without Wilfried Zaha. And it's not like Wilfried Zaha plays every game, and that's why that comes up. You know, he's injured, not a lot, but quite frequently. Here and there, he misses a few games. So that is quite a ridiculous stat. And I mean, this season Zaha has scored 3 goals and got 1 assist so far. And the second top goal scorer is Luka Milivojevic on 2 goals. Both penalties and both against Arsenal last weekend. So, you know, except Zaha, there's not really that much going on there. Formation-wise, Palace have tried out multiple things, you know, 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1, 4-4-2, 4-5-1, although that's basically the same as a 4-3-3, you know, just different on paper, if you will. You know, they've tried Zaha up front, Zaha on the wing, all sorts, basically. So it's not easy for me, and, you know, even for Sarri, it's not easy to predict what Roy Hodgson is actually going to come up with on Sunday. But so far, considering the 14th and only on 8 points, you know, none of it has really worked all that well. Although against Arsenal, like I said already, you know, that was a good result. But still, it kind of sounds like, you know, the way I say it, it sounds like everything and everyone but Wilfried Zaha is bad for them these days. And going forward, that might actually be the case. But like I said, defensively, they've been decent. And therefore, I do expect them to be very hard to break down and score against, and therefore obviously difficult to beat on Sunday. Like I said, you know, twice already, their Arsenal result was a good result for them. Plus, it also stopped Arsenal's 11-game win streak in all competitions, that it didn't play a single, you know, strong team in those 11 games. And they also got lucky in some of them as well. And it really helped the Liverpool batter them on the weekend. But still, for Crystal Palace, that was more than just a decent result. But to be honest, that's really everything I have to say about Crystal Palace. And now getting into Maurizio Sarri's pre-match press conference. And by the way, Maurizio Sarri has been nominated for the Manager of the Month, you know, October award. And obviously, I mean, I hope he wins that. But, you know, getting into the press conference, and first of all, he spoke about Eden Hazard's fitness situation. And Sarri said that yesterday, Hazard took a large part of the training session with the team for the first time, basically. and with that, maybe he won't be ready to play the full 90, as it was his first training basically in 2 weeks. But he said he's likely to be fine for like 40 or 45 minutes. And, you know, he will still speak to the player to decide, you know, whether to play him from the start or whether to bring him on in the second half, that kind of thing. The Boston also spoke very honestly about not expecting and, you know, actually being surprised by the start of the season that we've had. Because in all of his previous jobs, the first 2 or 3 months were very tricky for him. But at Chelsea, he said he was very lucky because the players managed to win even without great tactical organisation, basically. And, you know, he went on to continuing that actually we still don't have great tactical organisations, you know, as seen by our last game against Derby in midweek. Going forward, you know, we were okay, he said, but, you know, there were just way too many mistakes in the defensive phase and we definitely need to improve. But, you know, he said it's not a concern for him. He's used to things taking a while to fully click in his system. And, you know, it's not like it never works. It's just up and down because at Burnley, he was very happy, he said. But then against Derby, it was kind of all over the place. And then Sarri has actually finally confirmed the captain of Chelsea for this season, basically. And to be honest, it's a little bit of a surprise to most of us, I'm guessing, because Gary Cahill simply remains the captain of the club. Of course, he doesn't play a lot of games in the Premier League, especially only, I think, 14 minutes so far when he came on, you know, away at West Ham. It might be different, but I heard 14 minutes recently, and I know that game he came on in. And obviously, Azpilicueta is his number 2, as it was last season. But, you know, Sarri said after speaking to the team and, you know, them saying that Cahill is a really good captain and, you know, he simply decided to keep it as that. And also said, you know, that Cahill is a very important player for him, especially off the pitch. To me, it just sounds like, you know, he didn't really mind who was the captain. It's not really a thing that, you know, is all too important to him. He knows that he has a lot of leaders. Obviously, Azpilicueta is a leader, David Luiz, Eden Hazard to an extent as well. Even Fabregas, I think, is a leader. And then obviously you have Cahill there, who off the pitch, you know, he's just used to it. He's been around for a while. I think captaincy on the pitch, you know, you don't necessarily need to wear the captain's armband to be the captain on the pitch. I think Luiz mostly takes that responsibility, in my opinion, when we're playing. So, is it that big of a deal? Not really, but, you know, he's confirmed that for now, well, for the season, basically, unless Cahill obviously leaves in January, Gary Cahill is the captain of Chelsea for the season. And then he also found very positive words about Ross Barkley, you know, saying that in his first week in charge, Sarri, he watched, you know, footage of Barkley both at Chelsea and at Everton and said it was clear that technically and physically he is very good. It was very good. Physically, by the way, still improving after his massive injury last year. But now Sarri said he's also improving a lot on the tactical side of things and has become a very important player for Chelsea, according to Sarri, like I said. And as, by the way, Barkley also been nominated for the Player of the Month October, you know, in the Premier League. So, you know, hopefully he wins that. That should be a good kind of FIFA, you know, if he does get it. I doubt he will, but, you know, let's hope he does. And then also on Loftus-Cheek, Sarri said some very similar positive things. And also that he has improved tactically, but still needs to improve more in that aspect, especially in the defensive phase, which, by the way, under Sarri doesn't necessarily and actually mean defending. You know, when he says defensive phase, especially for the midfielders, I mean, it means defending as well, but mostly it's about positioning and pressing, like when to press and how to press, that kind of thing. Sarri said to play as a midfielder in the system, basically Loftus-Cheek still has to improve at the moment, but the potential is great. And, you know, he very much sounded like he has a lot of confidence in Ruben, you know, making that improvement. As he said, there is no chance of him going on loan anywhere in January, which is great to hear and was the last bit of the press conference that I'm going to talk about. And now coming to Chelsea and the lineup and obviously how the game's going to go and my score prediction as well. Now, lineup-wise, I think almost all of the team is kind of set in stone already and we kind of know who's going to play in these positions. Obviously, Kepa will be in goal. Back four will be Azpilicueta and Alonso as the two fullbacks. Rudiger and David Luiz as the two centre-backs. Jorginho and Kante will start for Jura as well. And I'm also almost 100% sure that Barkley will be the third midfielder rather than Kovacic or Loftus-Cheek. But, you know, coming to the front three, I mean, it is a bit tricky because the journalists didn't really care about anyone but Hazard. So we, at the moment, don't know whether Olivier Giroud is back fit after missing the midweek game with a fatigued leg, or, you know, whether he'll, you know, also miss the game on Sunday. But either way, I think if he's physically capable to do so and physically fine to do so, Morata, with his performance against Burnley last week, deserves to start again on Sunday, quite frankly. I mean, he didn't do much on Wednesday, but like I said in the review to that, check it out if you haven't already, I don't think he deserves all too much blame for that. So I think Morata should, you know, start whether Giroud is fit or not. But for the wingers, it obviously all depends on whether Hazard starts or not. Now, even though Sarri said, you know, and spoke about 40 to 45 minutes of playing for him, I think it's going to start and come off after maybe 60 to 70 minutes. Because before Hazard's first start of the season away at Newcastle, Sarri said that he couldn't play more than 60, maybe 70 minutes. But then he actually ended up playing the full 90 and was the man of the match. So, you know, it doesn't always stick to what he says in the press conference. So that's why I reckon he'll start and maybe come off after around an hour or so. But if Hazard starts, who starts on the right? Now, every logical thinking part of my brain screams Pedro at me. because Willian has basically started their last 10 million games in a row. And thank God for him, he was not called up during the international breaks this season, because otherwise he'd probably have collapsed by now. But, you know, Pedro obviously was ill at Burnley and had to come off and then only played the end of Wednesday's game. So in theory, he should be fully fit. But, you know, being ill, especially stomach issues, you know, they take a lot of energy from the body. So Willian might actually be the fitter of the two at this moment in time. And seeing how the season has gone so far with how many times Willian has started when I didn't think he would, you know, I'm going to have to predict Willian to start, because otherwise that's just, you know, not realistic, to be honest. But, you know, if Hazard doesn't start, it's going to probably simply be Willian on the left and Pedro on the right or something. You know, that's pretty straightforward if Hazard doesn't start. There's no point running through the team again, because I literally just talked you through it. So, you know, I'm going to put the team I think is going to start on Sunday up on screen now while I continue with the video. Now, Burnley, after the first 15 or 20 minutes, was, for me, our best performance of the season. And Wednesday, you know, against Derby, was without doubt the worst game of the season for us. And yes, even though we won, I think it was a lot worse than the 0-0 draw at West Ham, for example. So I'd say, let's just play like we did against Burnley and let's win on Sunday. I think that'd be good, wouldn't it? So I think, you know, we just got to make sure we move well and quickly. Like, not just the ball, but ourselves. I think still sometimes along the season, in a lot of games, when it hasn't gone so well, it felt like the players didn't move enough, didn't give each other enough options to pass it to and keep the, you know, the quick passing flow, you know, keep it going basically. Like I said, you know, quick passing flow, got to make sure that we move the ball around fast, you know, it's obviously to move the opposition, to tire them out and to find spaces. And then we also got to make sure we press consistently and smart when we're not, you know, in position. And we also have to make sure that we don't make any mistakes like we did so many of on Wednesday against Derby. And chances are that we'll have to be patient because, you know, Palace, like I said, defensively have been quite decent. So, you know, if they do defend well, we're going to have to be patient and, you know, just wait our way through and not try anything risky and then, you know, concede a silly counter-attack and concede from it. And of course, you know, be wary of Wilfried Zaha because, like I said already, he's by far the best player. Now, all in all, we're definitely the favourites and should really get the win. I mean, 15 games played in all competitions, 12 wins, 3 draws. That is incredible. An incredible start to the season. So let's continue that unbeaten streak. Let's continue that unbeaten start to the season and get another win. I'll predict a solid 2-0 home win. I don't think there's all too much to say about it. They've not been great going forward, so I don't think we'll concede. And they're decent at the back, so I don't think we'll score like 4 like we did at Burnley. So, like I said, 2-0 home win. I'd be very happy with that. But yeah, that's really it for me. Leave me all of your thoughts ahead of the game down in the comment section below. Do you think Hazard will start? Do you think he'll come off the bench in the second half? Your predicted lineups, your score predictions, all of that down in the comments below. And also, let's see whether we can hit 500 or more likes in this video. Like I said already, that'd be massively appreciated. So if you could smash the like button down below, I'd absolutely love that. And of course, this is YouTube, so if you have not already, make sure you subscribe to 100% Chelsea. And also, like I said already, make sure you don't forget to hit the notification bell button and just to be notified about all uploads so you don't miss any of our future uploads, as it happens so many times on YouTube these days. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Up the Chelsea, and I'll see you next time.